for joining us today for our webinar for celebrating STEM Week. She's going to provide us an overview of the resources from Everfi from the website, and a little bit later she's going to give us some STEM resources from Everfi. And thank you, Carolyn, for joining us, and Kathy Dasho is also on the call, so I appreciate everyone's time today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is just share my screen. Great. Can you see that?
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So for today, just going to go over who we are, what we do as a company, to give a background on some of our digital resources, implementation ideas, and then give you resources and step-by-step instructions to get onto the dashboard and look into how these lessons can fit into your curriculum. So as a quick overview of who we are and how we support whole child education across North America, if you're not familiar, we create online courses on what we call critical skills. So things that students may not encounter in, say, their math or English class, but they'll need to be successful in their careers and in life. And so we aim to educate the whole child. So we include critical life skills in our courses, like how to communicate effectively within a team, how to file your taxes, or how to fill out a FAFSA application, how to calm down when you're upset. All of our courses are fully digital, self-paced, self-guided, and one-to-one for students. They are co-curricular, so they're meant to supplement what you're doing in the classroom. However, I do have a handful of teachers who have taken one of our resources and built entire units around it. We also have a handful of offline resources available to you, including curriculum guides, course outlines, standards alignment, discussion questions, extension activities, and lesson plans to further learning. And as you can see at the bottom of this PowerPoint, we're able to bring all of these resources to you at no cost with the help of local and national sponsors. So, we have thousands of partners across the US and Canada. And so here are just a few that are specific to North Reading. And with this sponsorship comes curriculum at no cost, unlimited student licenses, training and support specifically through me. And then we often have engagement events with our sponsors, classroom visits, office visits for the kids. A larger activity or event last year included 3,000 middle school students going to TD Garden to partake in a MassMutual financial literacy event. And then lastly, we also have scholarship opportunities as well. There's also impact reporting. So at the end of the year, what we'll do is we will provide each district or school a report to see the average knowledge gains of students, any behavioral and attitudinal changes, and really show the impact that we're making over the school year. So at a very high level, to keep it short, but also knowing that, educators, a lot of you might be teaching different subject areas, I just wanted to sort of give an overview of all of our courses. So you see we have financial education, STEM and career exploration, social emotional learning, health and wellness, elementary academic readiness, and then these coming soon, we actually have a bunch of them are already out. So the vaping prevention, the money moves, modern banking, as well as pathways financing for higher education. All of those are already out and available too. You'll notice that, each of these courses really span grade levels. And so we do have recommended grade levels. That being said, there are some courses that if it says 6th to 8th, you could use with 5th graders, or if it says 9th to 12th, you could use with 8th graders. Really, that's just our recommendation for you. The next thing also to say is that each course takes a different amount of time. The longest course we have is 7 lessons, and they're about 30 minutes each. The shortest course we have is just 2 lessons, about 20 minutes each. So it really, each course sort of differs in that regard. However, you're looking at about 15 to 20 minutes on average for each module within the course. So just to give you some implementation ideas, obviously, I've seen any courses used in your core content instruction to meet different standards, but there are some other ways to implement all of our courses really pretty creatively. And so, keeping in mind that we're not necessarily sure what instruction is going to look like through the fall and the winter with hybrid and remote. But if you are in person or even if you are remote, you can use any of our courses as an extension activity to build off of your core instruction. You can also use the lessons as a jumping off point for class discussions. As I mentioned, there's tons of great discussion questions in the offline materials, as well as extension activities and lesson plans. If you're doing distance learning, that discussion can take place in a shared Google Doc or via video conferencing. So a lot of teachers have started sort of using Google Doc as a discussion board when they're using Everfi resources. So, in their Google Classroom, they'll set up a classroom or assignment that's just Everfi resources. That's where the kids can find all the instructions, all the extension plans, discussion questions, whatever. And then in a Google Doc, in that Google Classroom, you can set up let's say 3 questions, and you can say, all right, once you do this module, you're going to answer these 3 questions. Tomorrow, you're then going to respond to 2 of your classmates. And so it becomes sort of a running discussion board, if you will. And then finally, if you are, whether, you're in school or you want to use it for asynchronous learning, you can sort of do it as a flipped classroom. So you can introduce a topic, and then when students are at home or learning on their own, they can go through the modules themselves. As I said, every module is self-paced and self-guided, one-to-one for students. And finally, when we all are back in the classroom, I see a lot of teachers using this course as a center or having all the students do the digital lessons while the teacher pulls small groups for interventions. So getting started. So what you're going to do is you can either go to everfi.com/new teacher, or you can go to everfi.net. It takes you to the same place. When you get there, you're going to find your state, obviously Massachusetts, and then enter your school name. Once you've done that, you'll hit the next button. And then you're going to complete your profile. Just want to note here real quickly that the students register almost the exact same way that teachers do. The only difference is they'll get a registration code first, but I'll get into that a little later. So fill out your first name, last name, school email address, create a password. The course, you can choose any course at this time because you can go in later and add a course, delete a course. So it doesn't really matter what course you pick right now. Obviously, you're going to want to pick one that you're interested in. You'll agree to the terms of service, and then you'll hit next. So this is what your home screen is going to look like. You can view the course catalog in 2 ways. You can view the course catalog by hitting the catalog button up here, or you can click Add Course. So if you click Add Course, that's going to bring you to our catalog. This is where you have access to every single one of our resources. We have about 27, 28 digital resources at the moment, all available to you. You're going to see an add button, and that's how you will add the course to your dashboard. One thing to note is that if you see a request button, that request comes right to me. The reason we have a request button is because the age recommendation might be slightly off. So if you're a high school teacher and you're requesting an elementary course, could be for a number of reasons. One, you have some students who maybe are lower level or, maybe English language learners. So you're looking for a course at that level. That's fine. It might be because you don't even notice that it's an elementary school course, which happens more times than not. So that request comes right to me. I'll generally ask you, one, if you realize it's the wrong, age, or I'll ask why or how you want to implement it. You explain it to me, and then I'll put it on your dashboard. So once you've added the courses to your dashboard that you want, you're then going to want to start creating your classes. So you can hit the green create class button right here, and that's going to bring you to this screen. Here, you're going to give your class a name, the start date, the class size. All of that is really for internal purposes to let me know when you plan on starting, how many kids and what grade level, so that we can also report back to the sponsors and see how our courses are being used. The start date is not super important in that you can actually start whenever you want. So if you put in, October, but you don't start until November, that's fine. If you put in January, but you start in November, that's totally fine as well. You're going to see an add courses button down here. This is new as of last year. And the reason that we have this now is that you can assign multiple courses to one cohort that you create. And that's going to generate just one code for your students to have to enter. Do note that any course that you add to your dashboard will not be added to your students' dashboard until you assign the course inside the class. So if you wanted to add more courses to this class that you're creating, you come to the Add Course button, brings you to this screen. You check off what you want to add to this course. You'll then hit Add up here, and then it will show up when you're done creating your classes. Here's the class code that I've been talking about. So the registration code, this is what you give to students. This registration code will always live under this blue button right here. When kids register, they sign on, they'll put this registration code in, they'll have access to any course that you assign to them now. So just sort of looking at your main dashboard and to go over a couple of the key buttons here. So obviously courses, this is where all your courses that you add to your dashboard are going to show up. Your classes is how you can go and see what classes you've created. So this is my classes tab here. Obviously this is a sample, but Eric's Homeroom Advisory 2, Eric's Homeroom Advisory. You can find your registration code here, as I mentioned. At any time, you can edit your class. You can also hide your class. Back to the dashboard, a couple other important things. So you have a Create Class and a View Course button. The View Course button is going to allow you to see the course just as the students would. One thing to note is, as a teacher, your progress is not tracked. Meaning if a student goes on, they go on for 5 minutes, complete 5 minutes of a module. The next time they sign on to that module or that course, they will pick up right where they left off. As an educator, we give you a little bit more freedom. So your progress isn't tracked, but that allows you to jump around, to skip some of the prompts. You don't have to answer all the questions, and you don't have to watch all the videos necessarily. If you do want your progress tracked, and I do have teachers who ask to have their progress tracked, I just tell them to make a sample student account, and then it's pretty easy. You go in as a demo student, use the registration code that you're going to give to your students, and you get entered into that class, and you can go through the course as a student would. There is a resources button as well. That is the button that's going to give you all of those resources I talked about. So the curriculum guides, any reflection questions, discussion questions, course outlines. We have standard alignment. Since COVID hit, we created a handful of offline, even more offline tools. So 2-week lesson plans, different implementation guides. We created worksheets that you can edit yourself. We used to just give PDFs and you'd print them out, or you'd make them into whatever you wanted them to look like to be student facing. Now we have them so that students can you can download it, you can assign it to a student, send it to a student, and they can go in and type in their answers right online for you. So viewing student progress, you can see, as I mentioned, I talked about the impact reports. So you can see in live time how your students are doing. So you can see what they're getting on their pre-assessments and their post-assessment. There is a pre and post-assessment for every single module. In order to be certified in any of the courses, students have to pass each module with a 70%. They can take the post-assessment over as many times as they need to, go through the module as many times as they need to get a 70% in order to pass and get certified in the course. Just a couple other things to point out. So the support screen, that's going to give you my information, scholarship opportunities, again, more standard alignments, frequently asked questions, IT support if I'm not available or you'd rather just go to IT. That's what the support tab is going to get you. And then just a couple other things to point out. Invited teacher. So for every teacher that you invite, and that then goes active, you actually get a $15 Amazon gift card. So all you have to do is invite a teacher. It's not inviting them to your class. It's inviting them to the Everfi dashboard. And that's it. Do either of you have questions for me that teachers might ask?
Just to recap, what are some of the curriculums available and what do they cover? Just to kind of quickly recap. I know you have financial literacy. I know you have some digital literacy skills. What are some of the other curriculums?
Yeah, do you want me to go back to that slide?
Sure. Just to kind of regroup, because I know we've taken a look at a couple different curriculums over the last couple of years, the financial literacy.
Right. And I know our middle school health teacher is using the health curriculum. She likes it.
Yep. So, I mean, all of our financial education. So Vault was just newly relaunched in July. It covers, everything from banking basics to making smart financial decisions. It's our elementary school course, so we do keep that in mind. They're not going to get into a ton of the nitty gritty. It also has more of an SEL component to it now. Smart is our middle school financial literacy course, probably one of our most popular courses. The kids are the mayor of a town, and they have to help local constituents reach financial success. So, in one module, kids are helping a young boy redecorate his room on a limited budget. In another module, they have to help a girl open and run a pet shop. So they're getting a little bit into entrepreneurship. Venture is our entrepreneurial expedition course. Kids are running their own food truck, so they must understand, getting business capital and making a business plan, but also where do you want to put your food truck? What are you going to sell? What's branding going to look like? What's your demographic? Things like that. Our financial literacy course, Everfi, it's probably our flagship course. It's our high school financial literacy course. It was just updated this past year. Super interactive, puts the kids in really true to life scenarios. And also that covers everything from, again, banking basics, understanding financial institutions, but they also go into filling out a FAFSA and understanding, work-life balance and picking the right job for them at the right time. So again, that one's a little shorter than our old one is. We did just redo it this year, as I was saying. Marketplaces is our investing basics course. So kids are understanding, it really is a true blend of financial literacy and also microeconomics. So kids are learning about the global marketplace. Then if we look at the STEM and career exploration, so future goals, probably our next most popular after Future Smart, sponsored by the Boston Bruins. If you are doing a STEM week, we are doing a STEM week next week with the Boston Bruins. And it's not, if you want to tell your teachers this, it's not too late to register. For 5 days, for half an hour each day, we have members of the Boston Bruins organization, people who, the ice technician, people who work in the arena, the coach, and potentially a player, all on different days, are going to go over different STEM concepts related to future goals. And so Hockey Scholar has a math and science edition. So kids are, going through everything about, in the first module, they have to take the basketball court apart. And so they're working on air. It's awesome to get the wood panels up. And then they have to understand, getting into science, how cold does the ice have to be? They work with angles, the angle of a hockey shot to get the puck from one player to another. What's the speed of the shot that the players to take? They look at the curvature of the hockey sticks. They look at how padding and equipment has changed over time. So we're having the equipment manager be on next week. And it's completely free also.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so if you wouldn't mind sharing those resources around the STEM week with the Bruins, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll definitely send it to you.
Any with some of these curriculums, like, could a parent use it with their students at home?
Yes. So a couple of things. Once a class is set up through a teacher, and that's what we recommend first, and that's what we've been built on. Then the student can access it anywhere. They just have to put that registration code in. Of course, a parent can help them, whatever they need. However, when COVID hit last spring, what we did is we actually created a family portal, and so parents could go on and get their students on as well, just using the family portal. It's pretty much the same thing. They just choose that they're, a K-12 parent.
Is that still available?
It is. Yep.
If you wouldn't mind sharing that as well, I'd love to be able to share that with our parents as an additional resource for students working at home or being able to do, extra different types of curriculum work. That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm also going to remind our science teachers about, next week. And I mean, again, I've used Hockey Scholar with my 5th grade a couple of years ago, and it is very good. It is.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing to note is that we obviously know that, 12 o'clock lunchtime, that's pretty hard. The Bruins are recording every single session. And once they clip the sessions and send them over to us, any teacher that registers and, goes on Hockey Scholar, at least gets a couple kids active, has the ability to view that session at any time that they want with the students as well. So the kids don't miss out on things.
Okay. Yeah. And you're going to send us how do they register?
Directly to you. So we sent out a whole handful of emails to any teacher who used Hockey Scholar in the last 2 years, actually. Right. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of your teachers already have it. I can also see if anyone has registered from North Reading. I don't believe they have, but I can look at that. But anyway, I will send you the email that I sent to teachers, and then you can just send them out to math and science teachers or STEAM
That'd
teachers.
Be great. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right.
And if you have a templated email for parents, I'd be happy to share that out too for the parent portal. Because, with STEM Week, we're doing everything remote. I'm trying to, everywhere we can give something to parents to kind of engage their students with any of these curriculums. I think would be great.
Yeah, so I can you can probably use the one that I sent to teachers for parents because on the website, we do have a selection where, a parent can say, I'm a parent, not a teacher. And so it's pretty much the same template.
Great. No, thank you.
Do you want me to just go over these other STEM and career exploration courses while I'm
that'd be great. Yeah, let's touch base on the STEM.
Cool. So Endeavor is probably one of my favorite courses that we have. We've added new modules to it, but basically kids are exploring different STEM careers. So in one of them, they're building the ultimate prototype, which happens to be a shoe. They're learning about the iterative design process. They're learning about smart houses and the Internet of Things. So how do I say, hey, Alexa, turn my light on, and Alexa turns my light on? They go through a module where they're understanding how playlists are curated. How does Spotify know what I want to listen to, and how does it suggest different songs and playlists for me? A couple of the new ones are medical devices and understanding how medicine has transformed over time and how technology is used to make a better experience for not only the patients, but also doctors, to keep track of patient files and to make medicine better and improve it. The other one is running a sports team. So, how are not only sports teams successful on the court, how do they analyze their data and look at different players and who they want to draft and, use that data from different years or past years to get the best players, but also how are they successful off the court? So how is STEM used in, you know, marketing and in their store, and how do they sell and you know, merchandise, how's merchandise sold to be successful off the court or off the field. They're also looking at how games are created in that whole process in terms of technology. Really, really cool, super interactive. Also, the other thing that I should say is almost every single one of our courses, with the exception of a couple health and wellness courses, can go in any order. So modules are not locked. So if a teacher just wants to, you know, go in and do the third module of Endeavor, or do just the, you know, medical devices module, they can go in and do it. They don't have to do every single lesson. They can pick and choose what they want their kids to do and when they want to do it. That also goes for like all of our financial education ones. Obviously, you know, we have, you know, there's different sort of themes every month, right, for education, whether it's Red Ribbon Week or whether it's, you know, financial education month, college month, things like that. And so we have teachers using different modules based on, you know, what the kids are learning, or what theme it is, I should say, in the education world. Keys to Your Future, I'll throw in, it's under our career exploration course. It's great to use after financial education courses. It really hones in on the soft skills that are needed to be successful post-secondary education. And so kids are learning how to communicate effectively, how to work in teams, but also how to network and the goals that they need to make in high school right now to be successful after high school. And it doesn't necessarily mean that every student is going to go to college. So this is pretty cool in that what the student picks kind of creates their own experience in the modules. So, you know, maybe they're going into the military, maybe they're going to go right into the workforce, maybe they're going to go, you know, take a year off and do something else. So again, you know, Keys to Your Future, great for college and career readiness, and building soft skills.
Those are great. I mean, these are a lot of great options. And I want to be respectful of your time, and I appreciate you sharing all this with us, and definitely sharing with us, you know, the parent portal idea, and also the Boston Bruins STEM event idea. And definitely what we'll do is we'll share this video out to, you know, try to continue engaging our teachers with the content, because I know we have some teachers who are really, you know, enjoy using it. I know we have some in our business department, digital learning, and also health and wellness, who've taken advantage of the courses. And I know they are a core part of their curriculum now. They keep using them every year. So I appreciate everything you guys have done.
Great, no problem. Yeah, and if there's any questions, teachers can definitely reach out to me. I'll go back to my slide with my number and email. But yeah, happy to help however I can. So if you guys have no other questions, you know.
No, it looks great. I mean, it's definitely, I've watched it evolve over the past few years, and it's definitely gotten so robust. It definitely looks great.
Yeah.
Where do you play basketball?
I played basketball at Bentley University long ago.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah. Oh, that's an awesome part of you. That's cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
No, that's good stuff. Yeah. No, thank you, Carolyn. I appreciate you taking the time with us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. And I'll send over those 2 emails in like 5 to 10 minutes. I'll write something up. I'll send over the STEM Bruins event. And then, yeah, if they have any questions, just ask. Honestly, the pre-work that we ask for is really just to make it so that the kids have a better experience and know what, you know, the Bruins organization is talking about when they, you know, go over the topics. But if there's a teacher who's like, I can't fit it in next week, but I can in 2 weeks, then have them register. So that way I at least know to get them the link to watch the recordings.
Great. That's perfect. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Kara. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. And and send me the video link when you get a chance, and I'll, you know, I'll edit it up for us.
Oh yeah. That. Yeah. I guess I can stop recording now, huh?